Hello friends, welcome to the Java session. Today I am going to explain you how the nested for loop works. So here I am taking one example. Okay, so we want to print 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 3 4 5 three times. Okay, so whenever we want to work with the matrix format, then we will go for an nested for loop. Okay, so let us see the syntax of nested for loop before starting this. Okay, so here let me write. So for loop, and first I'm writing a outer for loop, and we already know the syntax of the single for loop. So first we'll give initialization, then condition, and here we have the incrementation or decrementation, right? So next we'll be having open brace and close brace. And now I'm going to write the inner for loop syntax. So this is also again same. Okay, so initialization, condition, and then incrementation or decrementation. So I'm just putting it here, and we have to again open and close. So when this for this particular for loop means whenever your condition is true. See, first always your for loop starts from the first for loop initialization, and then it goes to the condition. If the condition is true, it comes to the inner for loop, right? And in this inner for loop, we are again starting from the initialization, condition, and then it goes to the statements. Whatever the statements we have written here, that statement will get executed, and after completing this statement it goes to the incrementation and decrementation. So if later it will check the condition. So if the condition is true, then again it comes to the statements and incrementation. Okay, condition, again statements. So this for loop will repeat. Okay, so how many, as long as this condition is true. Once this condition fails, then control goes to the outside the for loop incrementation and decrementation. And then it will check the condition. So if the condition is true, again it comes here, and again this for loop will repeat. Okay, how many times we are repeating, that many times this for loop will repeat. And then once the condition fails, the control goes again incrementation and decrementation of an outer for loop, and it will check the condition. If the condition is true, again this for loop will repeat. So like this, for each and every value of an outer for loop, the inner for loop will repeat. So this is the syntax of the nested for loop. Now, whatever the example I have taken, let us try to write a code for this, how to print this one. Okay, I have taken this simple example so that we can understand the flow of the nested for loop. So the first, let me declare two variables. Okay, so int I and j, or we can take it as row and column. Okay, and since my values are hard coded here, I'm taking the values here only. I'm not taking the value from the user, but if you want, we can take a value from the user also. So let me write a outer for loop. So what I'm trying to do here, I'm trying to print this pattern, you all know. So here, how many rows are there? We have a 3 rows. And how many columns are there? We have the 5 columns, right? So we have 3 rows. Outer for loop is always responsible for rows, and inner for loop is always responsible for column. When I value is, when outer for loop means when row is 0, when I'm in 0th row, these columns should repeat. So the inner for loop will repeat. No, for every value of an outer for loop, the inner for loop will repeat. So the same way, for every value of an row, the inner for loop, that is columns, will repeat. So we will see that now. For this, I am taken here the two variables. One is a row and column. Now the row I will initialize into, first I am starting from 0, or we can start from 1 also, no problem. And usually let us start from 1. And then row is less than or equal to 3, because I want it has to repeat 3 times, because here I have 3 rows in my program what I'm supposed to print. Okay, there we have 3 rows, so I'm taking 3. And then row plus plus, and for every row, when the row is 1, then what should happen? I want to repeat the inner for loop for 5 times. So for column is equal to 1, column also I am starting from 1, and then column is less than, and how many times here inner for loop should repeat? As I told you, there are 5 columns in each row, so inner for loop should repeat for 5 times. So you can give it here less than or equal to 5, because I have started here from 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if I take only less than, the 5 will skip and it will run only 4 times. So that is the reason I'm taking equals. Then column plus plus. Then here I'm going to print system dot out dot println. I will not take println, because I want my data has to be printed in row wise. Okay, so if I take a println, it will come to the new line. First I want to print 1, and in the same row the next value I want to print 2. So that's the reason here I will not take println. Ln, you know, it will give you a new line. If I take only print, it will print in the same line. So what I'm going to print here, I will print the column value. So first column will be 1, so it will print 1. Okay, and then it will be 2, right? I'll explain, we will see that now. So I'm repeating this again. So first you will be having a row value is 1. Let us trace this. And before tracing, so here, okay, we'll trace this now. Row is equal to 1. Now 1 is less than or equal to 3. So if the now 1 is less than or equal to 3, condition is true. Okay, so since condition is true, it comes to the inner for loop. And in the inner for loop, we are taking the column is 1. Okay, and 1 is less than or equal to 5, condition is true. And since the condition is, your compiler here, it returns true. Since it is true, it is giving true, the control will go to the system dot out dot print, and it will going to print the, what is the value of the column? 1, right? So it will print the 1. Next column plus plus, so column value will becomes 2, and 2 is less than or equal to 5, condition is true, right? And it will come here and it will print the 2. And next column plus plus means, when you say column plus plus, it will increment the column value by 1, so it will become 3. Now 3 is less than 5. Okay, so since condition is true, and it will print the 3 here, and column is 4. Now again incrementing, so column will become 4, and 4 is less than or equal to 5, condition is true, so it will print the 4. And next again we are going to do column plus plus, so value will become 5, and 5 is less than 5, condition is true, and it will print the 5 here. And now all of you observe, the column value will become 6, and 6 is less than or equal to 5, condition fails. Okay, the 6 is not less, no, 6 is greater. So here the, our system gives the false, right? So since it is false, the control comes out of this for loop, where it will come after the line number 24. And after the line number, in the line number 24, now please observe the output. Okay, so here output is after printing 1 2 3 4 5, I want my next data has to be printed in a new line, right? So to print that next data in the new line, before my control goes to the outer for loop, I want it has to print the new line here. So how do you print the new line? System dot out dot print ln. If you give this, it will give us the new line. Now after now initially the cursor was here. Now when I give this, what happens? The cursor will come to the next line. So I'm showing you here only. Okay, so this is next line. The cursor is now here. Now what will happen? This inner for loop condition failed and it came out. Okay, and now the control goes to the row plus plus because the outer for loop condition is still true, right? It is not failed, so it will go to the row plus plus. And what is the row value now? It is 2, right? Initially it was 1. Now I did row plus plus. Plus plus is an increment operator. It will increment the value by 1. Initially value was 1. Now it is 2. And now 2 is less than. It will check the condition now. This one. Row is less than or equal to 3. 2 is less than or equal to 3. Condition is true. And again it comes inside this for loop. Okay. So now this column will reinitialize it into 1, and this variable value will be, initially it was 6, now the 6 will be replaced by 1. Okay, this initialization will re-execute now because we are starting this for loop again from the beginning. So 1, and now 1 is less than or equal to 5. So this condition, and it is true, and it comes inside here, and it will going to print the column value. What is the column value now? Well, it is 1 again. And now again it goes to the column plus plus. The column value will become 2, and 2 is less than or equal to 5. Condition is true, and since condition is true, again it comes to the statement and it will print the 2 here. And now column plus plus, it will be 3, and 3 is less than or equal to 5. Condition is true, and it will print the 3. And next 4. Okay, so 4 is less than or equal to 5. Condition is true, and it will print the 4. And next 5. Okay, so this will become 5, and 5 is less than or equal to 5. Condition is true, and it will print the 5. And next it will go to the column plus plus, and this value will become 6, and 6 is less than or equal to 5. Condition fails. So as I told you guys, once the condition fails, the control comes out of the line number 25 because the for loop is closed here. Now it is going to execute line number 26. So what happens in line number 26? It gives us the new line. So earlier the cursor was here after 5. Now it will give me the new line. So control will be pointing here. Okay, so after executing this SOP, it means system.out.println, line number 27, the control again goes to the row plus plus. Now, okay, outer for loop. It goes to the outer for loop, row plus plus. Now the row value will become 3. Initially it was 2, now it is 3. Now 3 is less than or equal to 3. Condition is true. And since condition is true, it again comes to the inner for loop. Okay. So here the column, this will again re-execute now. Column is equal to 1. The 6 will be replaced by 1. Now 1 is less than or equal to 5. Condition is true. And again it comes to the SOP system.out.println. It will print 1. And next column plus plus, the column value will become 2, and 2 is less than or equal to 5. Condition is true, and it will come to the print and it will print the 2. Then 3. Okay, so same process will continue. So 3 is less than or equal to 5, and here it will print 3. And next it will go to the again column plus plus, it will become 4, and 4 is less than or equal to 5. So this condition, so it is true again, so it will print the 4, and then column plus plus. Okay, so and it goes to the 5, and 5 is less than 5, condition is true, and it will print the 5. And now again column plus plus, it will become 6, and now 6 is less than 5. This condition fails because 6 is greater. And now since this condition fails, it will not go to execute this statement, it will not execute this statement, it will come out of the for loop, inner for loop, line number 26, and here it will execute this SOP system.out.println, means it will the cursor comes to the next line. Okay, the new line, it prints the new line. And now after completing this all this statement, it will go to the row plus plus. Now the row value will become 4. Initially it was 3, now it is 4 because we are incrementing here row plus plus, so it is becoming 4. Now 4 is less than or equal to 3, condition fails. Okay, see this row value is now what? 4. 4 is less than or equal to 3, condition is fails, right? And since the condition fails, it will not go inside this this statement, it won't execute now. Where we are closing this for loop, the outer for loop we have opened here, and here we have closed. So once this condition fails, it comes out of this for loop, outer for loop, like it comes to the line number 30. And in the line number 30, we don't have any further statements. Okay, so the program will the program execution completes here, and it will going to print you the output. This is what I have traced now, the program. This will be the output. Now let us run this and check, is it working whatever the way we have traced it. Run as Java application. I think I not saved the program. Let me save it and rerun the program. So you all can see the output of this program is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like that, okay, we will get the output. So as here, what you have to remember is whenever you come to the nested for loop, so for each value of an outer for loop, the inner for loop, okay, repeats. So whenever you have the data, you want to print the data in the matrix format. For example, we have a lot of pyramid programs, right? Star pyramid, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so pyramids. So whenever you want to work with the pyramids and matrix, then you will go for this nested for loop, and this is how it works. I hope all of you understood this. It is cleared. Okay, so if you are clear with this concept, please like and subscribe my channel.